Today at the White House, U.S. President confidently pounded the podium and declared that his aggressive policies have Beijing absolutely freaking out. It's a great narrative for the evening news, painting a picture of Chinese officials running through the halls of power in total panic. But if you look at the actual global data, the reality is far more embarrassing. China isn't panicking at all. They are actually just sitting back, sipping green tea, and watching Washington repeatedly trip over its own shoelaces on the international stage. According to independent analysis published by the New York Times and The Guardian, the narrative of a terrified China is being fundamentally disconnected from reality. While U.S. President's trade rhetoric remains incredibly loud, international trade data suggests actually losing global leverage. Analysts argue that by simultaneously fighting with traditional European allies, mismanaging the Middle East crisis, regional partners, the U.S. President administration has inadvertently created a massive geopolitical vacuum, one that Beijing is firing a single shot. The geopolitical math here is devastating for Washington. While U.S. President is busy micromanaging fights with the Federal Reserve over interest rates and wrestling with domestic inflation, China is expanding its supply chains across Asia and Africa. Every time the U.S. economy stumbles due to sudden tariff threats or domestic political instability, global markets look for a more predictable anchor, with supply shocks while Beijing watches the show. The cinematic contrast here is pure gold. Cut to the White House briefing room, where U.S. President is dramatically waving his hands, shouting about how China is losing millions of jobs and trembling before American might. Then, the camera cuts directly to a serene, sunlit office in Beijing. Chinese officials are sitting around a polished wooden table, quietly, drinking tea, watching the American news broadcast on a giant screen. One official turns to the other, looks at the chaos in Washington, and calmly asks, whatever he wants, but shouting louder doesn't make you stronger. Right now, America isn't winning the trade war. We are just providing free entertainment for the leadership in Beijing.